Hello, my friends. Jerry Rosa here in the Rosa Stringworks Man Cave. I've got a full-blown video for you. It's about 10 minutes long on putting the tracks on the Bobcat. We're going to get to that in just a minute. I'll remind you that this evening, around 7 o'clock, we're going to have our play-along this evening. Now, I'm still on the fence on whether Yolanda is going to be here or not. I invited her through Mark, and I don't know if Mark's on here today or not, but as far as I know, she's going to be here. That's just speculation on my part for the most part. So hopefully she'll be here. Let's see. More good news. I mean, I'm just so excited. The dump truck's leaking all of its coolant out. I just filled it up, and it's empty. And I don't even see where it's leaking. I didn't take an in-depth look yet, but just in a quick cursory look, I don't see any wet spot. I don't see any drips coming out, but it's empty already, and that ain't good. It's just been sitting there, waiting for the Bendix, which the Bendix did come in last night, so I was going to put that on this afternoon. But with all the fun I've been having lately, I'm just going to take off this afternoon and go metal detecting. And then we'll be ready for our play-along this evening. I've got to get in a better frame of mind. Oh my gosh, it just doesn't quit. It's really hard to explain. It goes in cycles. You can go along for weeks and hardly anything's really breaking, and then everything. And that's the way it is right now. I mean, every single thing I own needs work, and it all just is, adding up to this very moment. On a different note, I found this, and you might say, that's a rock, and you're right, it is. But I found this on the pond bank where Sue was seeding the new grass. I was in there just picking up large rocks while I was waiting for the guy to deliver the Bobcat tracks last night. I was just standing around down there because I wanted to guide him in. I knew he was coming pretty soon. So I was just picking up big rocks, throwing them in the creek, and I found this. And you go, how do you know that's a Native American artifact? Well, I do know for sure this is, 100% sure. I'm just not sure what the original shape was and the original size was. I can tell for sure that they worked this edge and this edge. You can see very distinct flaking. If you see those little flutes in there, all the way around, there's flaking, and it's on both sides, flaking. So I know for sure that doesn't happen in nature, not that way. You can get a little flake here and a little flake there in nature, no question, but not like that. Not where it's, matches up to a perfect edge all the way around. But then I can't tell if they worked this or if this is a natural break right here. This is a little harder to tell. And it's got some flaking in it, but it could be a natural break. Typically, natural breaks are just smooth, or straight. That's why this is curious to me. It's got some flaking in it. And then this edge here looks like it was broken. It's kind of rough. So I just don't know what the original, purpose or shape was. It's too small, I think, to be held like a normal scraper, like this type of thing, a scraper. So I'm not just sure. I'm just not 100% sure what this was originally, but I know they did it. I know for sure. Anyway, let's get into the Bobcat tracks video. Hope you enjoy this. I don't think I did. Well, the truck driver just left, and I got my tracks. Those suckers are way heavier than you might imagine. Like I said, I tried to unload them once with the front loader on that John Deere, and it almost flipped the tractor. I don't know if it tells you how much the weight is on these or not. I don't see it. Weight, 1,090 pounds. So half a ton right there in two tracks, over 500 pounds apiece. Well, it's time to do the old track shuffle here with the new tracks. As you can see, they're piled up there. I've got to get them off of the pallet. They're very heavy. They're over 500 pounds apiece. and I got to get the old tracks off. So I'm going to set you up as a time lapse, and we'll just see how all this goes.
My sweet Miranda of the mountain, I recall the day I met her on the mountain in the fall.
Well, my friends, I ain't gonna lie, I got pretty frustrated with that. Anytime I would push the top, the bottom would come out, and vice versa. I finally got it in there. It took me a while. Finally figured out the technique. I think the other side will go a little easier. If I didn't have these big tools, it would really be a problem. I mean, you can do it manually. I've done it before, but it's really hard. Now that I feel like I've got the process under my belt, I think I can get the other side much faster. Now I also have to plug the grease hole there and then pump grease in this to tighten this up. Okay, we're ready to pump grease back in this thing. And if you watch, you'll see these tracks straighten out and get tighter. You can imagine the kind of force it takes to straighten those tracks out, considering
how much trouble it is just to move the tracks around. You know, they're so heavy. So to straighten those tracks out, it takes some force, and this grease gun will sure do that. I think I'm going to call that good for right now. When I get it down on the ground and move it a little bit, I'll check them again. But right now, I think that's going to be good enough. Okay, we're on to the other side. How much fun is this?
Come springtime, we were married in a church house. Our love grew the summer long. Little did I know my sweet Melinda, one short year she would be gone. My sweet Melinda of the mountain, I recall the day I met her on the mountain in the fall, in the fall. Now I kneel by her graveside in the valley, listening to the lonesome crickets call. Can't help but crying and remember the day I lost my Melinda in the fall. My sweet Melinda of the mountain, I recall the day I lost her on the mountain. Now I'll cry forevermore.
In one way, that went easier, and another way, it was harder. I don't know, it ain't never easy doing this. Let me see if I can tighten this back up. Okay, that's the thing that lets the grease out. Now we'll put the grease back in, and hopefully all will be good. Oh man, wouldn't you know? It's not taking grease, it's slopping it all over the place. Just my typical luck when you finally get done. Oh man, give me a break. I can't believe my luck. That's just my typical luck. It's so aggravating. You finally get completely done, and then you got a different kind of problem. Just because you need a problem, you can't do it without a problem. Such a frustrating experience. It took me about 15 minutes to figure out that the problem was with the nipple on the grease gun. But I finally got it cleared and it's working. Nothing's ever easy. Well, we ran out of grease before we ran out of battery. So one way or the other, it had to happen.
Do you ever hear it's not easy being me? Oh my gosh, it just doesn't quit. I don't know. It's just hard to explain. You get completely done. You think, all right, now all I have to do is put grease in it. Everybody's put grease in things, right? Yeah. It's just that simple. Except it's never that simple. It just should be, but it isn't. I don't know. It just seems like that's just the way it has to be. I know everybody runs into it, but gee, when you do so much stuff like I do, and it just seems like it's there on purpose just to frustrate you. David Tharp says, howdy y'all. B.H. Ringer, good afternoon from Nova Scotia. Joe Cool USA, wishing everyone a pleasant afternoon. Brian Byler, happy Thursday. Rod Wintler, let's see. I'm going to look for just question marks now. Let's see. David Tharp says, for the record, I do not own a turntable. For the record, I do not own a turntable. Yeah, I got it. I had to read it twice, but I got it. Ronald Todd, good afternoon, Jerry and everyone from the West Banks of New Jersey. Looking for question marks. Dottie doesn't have any question marks, but she said she's going to need a hall pass, physical therapy again today. Well, God bless you. I hope it goes really, really well. And she's praying for everybody. Bill Rhodes says, good afternoon. How are you doing? Well, I'm doing fine. For the shape I'm in good shape. Oh, man. The truck driver, he had the pucker factor last night when he drove in here. Those of you who don't understand the pucker factor, I've explained it before. I'd rather not explain it again. But anyway, he had that when he was driving in here because the road's really narrow coming back here. The trees over the, and it's a big truck. I mean, it's one of those great big 18-wheeler trucks bringing it back here. And then he had to turn it around, He wasn't exactly excited about the whole prospect, but he got in and got out without any real trouble. Let's see. Dottie says, on the play along tonight, could you please play Build My Mansion? Also, if I could hear my mama pray again. Well, I'll see what I can do. I don't really know either of those. I'll look up the words to those. Build My Mansion. And the other one, I don't think I've ever done that one. If I could hear my mama pray again. I've heard it. I'll see if I can do them. I can't promise on those for sure. I mean, I can probably do the Build a Mansion. I know I've done that one, Build My Mansion. Anyway, I'll give it my best shot. And let's see. Moving on down, Gino Hitch says, hi, Jerry and friends. Doing the leaf thing today. Just came in for lunch and the vlog. Be careful changing those tracks. We are not invincible like we used to be. Yeah, well, I did have a casualty. Can you see the blood in the bandage there? That was a clean bandage. Actually, just a little while ago, it was a clean bandage. And, yeah, I banged that again. It broke it open again. It's not a deep cut, but it's a pretty big cut. It goes around in like a half moon shape. Yeah. It's one of those that's on the verge of needing stitches, I cut that on one of the axes I resharpened and put the new handle on. So I guess it's sharp. Hugh O'Connor, if you're taking requests, can I ask for Oklahoma Hills? I never heard of that one. Oklahoma Hills. I'll see what I can do, but I can't promise on some of these. It's just because sometimes they just don't fit me. But I'll look at it, and if it's something I think I can get through, I'll give it a shot if I can. Moving on down. Bill Mumbo says, Jerry, my notifications were turned off. Well, it's like the old doc says, if it hurts when you do that, don't do that. So if your notifications are turned off, turn them back on. Let's see. Michael 2X says, hey, Rosenmeister, after we went live there. And David Tharp says, I just can't believe that I got fired from the calendar factory after all the extra days I put in. I got that one the first time, believe it or not. That's pretty good for me. All the extra days I put in. You must have had a really big leap year that year. Richard Herbranson says, "Hi Jerry, are jeweler saw blades pretty much the same in quality, or do you know of a brand that is top quality?" Well, the answer to that one, Richard, is I don't know. I don't honestly know, and I never ran across any particular brand name or anything that I could recommend. I just got them wherever I could find them, and I do know that some seem to break pretty easily. I will say, for me, it seemed to me to be to keep them from breaking, you put more tension on them. In other words, the tighter you can string it up in that thing, they seem to last longer for me. If I get the least little bit of slack, then they would try to bend, and that bend would break them. And they'd get caught in the sawing mechanism. So I tighten it up pretty tight, and then they would saw better. That's the only trick I've got, is to keep it as tight as you can keep. And I don't mean go crazy on that either. I mean just by hand, tighten it as tight as you can get it by hand, not with any extra tools or anything. Rod Wintler says, a head gasket on the Ford. Well, it possibly could be that, I guess. I haven't checked the oil to see if there's anything in the oil. I don't think it's that. I think it's leaking out of either the radiator itself or the hose. There is a puddle on the ground. I mean, there's a stain on the ground. There's no... It must have leaked out overnight or something. I look under there. I don't see any drips trying to drip out of anything, but I can see a stain on the ground. So I'm pretty sure it's just leaking out of something. But it might be the head gasket. I'll double check that. It's a good thought. Bill Mumbo spent the morning listening to Western Swing, Bob Wills and his Texas Playboys. Got 4 CDs worth. Well, that's some good listening, that's for sure. Rod Wintler, Bill Mumbo, could talk about the bar chord thing again. I've never heard of the Google Zager Easy Play strings. I've heard of Zager, but I didn't know about Easy Play strings. Ronald Todd says, looks like a type of scraper, some kind. It was, since it was near the creek in the spring. Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. I just don't know if this was the original size, and if they made this curve on it on purpose, if that was done on purpose, or if this broke off. Like this, maybe this was a great big round, a big round shape like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but like where they point like that. I've seen lots of them made that way. They in fact, they call them Hopewell points, and some people call them a pre-form, where they're not notched in the bottom, but they actually made them that shape on purpose, and they were called Hopewell points. So I don't know if that's what this is or what, but I definitely know they did that. There's no question about that at all. And like I said, I was a member of the Archaeological Society in St. Louis for many years, and I never really was an active member. I just read all the articles and stuff and, feel like I understand it pretty well. And it's pretty hard to fool me when you, like I said, on 2 separate occasions, I've had people come up to me and say, look at this arrowhead I just found. And one time it was down at Grassy, Missouri, and I said, well, you might have just found it. That part could be true. And he said, what? How did he say it? And I said, it could have been made by a Native American, but it wasn't an ancient Native American. It's somebody that's probably still alive today. He looked at me and goes, how do you know that? And I said, I can just tell by looking at it. It's a modern recreation of an arrowhead. It's not an ancient one. He's going, how do you know that? How do you think you know that? I go, I just know it. I can tell by looking. And he's going, well, you're right. That guy over there made it. So anyway, it's pretty hard to fool me, I think. Anyway, Michael 2X, Sweet Melinda is a fantastic song. Yep, that is a good song. I never write the good ones. that one was written by Jim Yount. He is deceased. He was killed in a motorcycle accident. It's terrible. I never met Jim Yount either. He was a friend of the fellow that was singing it on there. That was Larry Thomas, who was kind of one of my mentors and best friends in bluegrass. He kind of helped me get started when I was first learning to play, really. I went over to his house a lot, Larry Thomas, and he helped me learn what little bit I think I know. He didn't actually teach me anything. It was more like we were just practicing together, and just learning. I was learning timing and, all that kind of thing. And really how to put a band together and that whole thing, too. Let's see. Looking for the question marks primarily. David Tharp says, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I never say anything more than once. Let's see. Don Nice, JP4ER says, hi, Jerry and friends. Jerry, could you please do the Mirror song? Yeah. That's called He Doesn't Look Like Me. That's done. Nice. Okay. And if Yolanda's going to be here, I have to do the wedding band. She's made that a permanent request. So I'll write down wedding band too, just because Yolanda wants that. If she's going to be here. If not, I don't necessarily feel like I have to do that one. Let's see. Bill Mumbo says, I hope you're not lining up excuses to explain complaints about your playing tonight. Lining up excuses? I don't think so. My playing just sucks regardless. I don't need any excuses. David Tharp, I've been reading a book on when and why Fort Knox was built. It's really difficult to get into. Where do you come up with all these things? I keep thinking he's going to run out. He's not going to have any more of these for tomorrow, Somewhere you come up with them. I don't know where you're coming up with them. Benita Drager says, what do you do with the old tracks? Any recycling places? Well, that's a good question there, Benita. I wish I had a good place to get rid of those suckers. And around here, I know that everybody talks the thing about recycling, but around here, you can take it, but most of the time they don't even want to see you when you come into the recycling places around here. It's like you're taking up their day. Like, why are you bringing this to me? It's kind of like, that's almost the way attitude that you get when you take something around here. And they give you nothing for it. It's pitiful. It's really pitiful. Lawrence Coffee Jr.'s God Bless America again. Yeah, for sure. Wavy Gravy. I knew a cross-eyed teacher who got fired because she couldn't control her pupils. You guys went to the same school for sure. Bill Webb says, good afternoon, Jerry and friends. Old Marine Shop says, hello, Jerry. Have you seen the young Ukrainian girl Tanya restoring a burnt Les Paul from Russian drone strike? Amazing. No, I haven't seen that. Haven't seen that one. I have to see if I can find that. David Thorpe says, I would love to hear Yolanda's version of Crazy. I knew you were going to ask for that. I can't play it. So there's, virtually zero chance we could play that tonight because I can't chord it. I don't know. It's just a song. It's over my pay scale, really. It wouldn't be if I practiced it and got up to speed on it. But I doubt there's any chance we could do that tonight. I don't know. if Leon was here, or possibly Gary Haven. I'm not sure he knows the chords to that, but I think he does. Leon could do it, no question. Leon knows everything about that stuff. By the way, Cash, he wanted me to teach him those lead notes for the electric guitar on that song he's learning for the next contest. And I told him, I said, buddy, that's over my pay scale. I don't have that ability to do that for you. I mean, I could figure it out over a course of 6 months, but I can't do that for you. So I mentioned it to Leon, and Leon wrote out the tab almost instantly and gave it to Cash. And then Cash asked, well, could you also write out the tab to the second break on the electric guitar? So Leon has done that and sent it to me. I just saw the notification just before we went live that Leon has sent me the tab for that also. Now, tab is another thing I don't do. I don't know how. I mean, I have done it a little bit over the years, but very, very, very little, like once or twice in my life. And it's just something that I'm not good at. I'm not good at reading things and putting it together. Like, I think that's why I could never do formal music. I can't read the notes quick enough to do what I need to do. I just have to do it by ear, and it just kind of is what it is. Let's see. Bill Mumbo, bandaged. Yeah, the bandaged. You can see the blood through there. Like I said, this is from Monday, I think. So I cut this Monday, and I had it bandaged the whole time, but I broke it open while I was out there working on the Bobcat. And then I put a fresh bandage on it just a little while ago, and I bumped it again, and that's why it's bleeding through the bandage. Yeah, it's a pretty good cut. Let's see, Bill Rhodes, do you know the song "Why Me Lord" by Chris Christopherson? I think "Why Me Lord." Yeah, I do know it. I mean, I don't know how to play it necessarily. I like that song. It's a great song. I'll write down that as a request, and if I can get to it, I will. This is already a lot of requests, so I doubt we can get to all of these anyway, but I'll do my best. The crazy I would like to do for you, I really would, but it just ain't. That one just ain't in me for this quick by myself. Now, if the other guys were here, I could just tap a rhythm to it or something. Yeah, Bill Rhodes says he meant Chris Christopherson. Yeah, I knew that's who wrote that one. Let's see. Ronald Todd says Oklahoma Hills may be Woody Guthrie's song. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one, but it does sound like it would be something like Woody Guthrie, doesn't it? Let's see. Ronald Todd says, what's up with Scott? I haven't seen anything from him in a long time. Yeah, I don't know. I think he's got a new gal, and they've been traveling and stuff, so I don't know what he's up to. I haven't talked to him in quite a while myself, but I think he's got a new girlfriend, and they've been traveling. That's all I know. Michael 2X, That's the Way Love Goes by the Haggard. Yeah, I like that song too. I really do like that song. That was Michael 2X. Let's see. And Blue Bayou, I'll mention that. I'm not sure that's one I can play either, and I'll have to look it up and see if I can play it and help, because I'll be the only one playing because she doesn't play. I'll write it down, and if I can get through it, we'll do it for you. But that'll be me that holds that one up if we don't get it. Just like on Crazy. Marine Shop, Tanya Shop Cook channel. Okay. Now I can't quite make that out what that's saying there, but anyway, I'll look that up and see if I can find it. Yeah. If you do a Merle song, if we make it through December, David Tharp. Yeah. I love that song. That's really just as close to my favorite Merle song as you can get. I can't really find a favorite Merle song. There's so many of them that are so good. But I'll write it down. Okay, I wrote it down. I'm not going to take any more requests because we're not going to get through all those as it is. Tanya Shepchuk, Guitar Repair Channel. Okay, I'll try to see if I can find that. I'm trying to write that name down so I can find it. Anyway, well, guys, I think that's going to be it. I'm just going to avoid going near the shop for this afternoon and evening because I just can't handle anymore. Just can't take anymore. I've had enough. So I'm going to go metal detecting. And if that metal detector even acts up the slightest amount, I'm going to throw that sucker in the creek. We will see you tomorrow with something else. No, we'll see you this evening with a play along, and then we'll see you tomorrow. But be there tonight if you would, 7 o'clock. Take care.